In this podcast episode, Aryna Sabalenka, the newly crowned U.S. Open women's singles champion, shares an intimate and insightful conversation that reveals the mental and emotional journey behind transforming setbacks into triumphs. Just 48 hours after winning her second consecutive U.S. Open title, Sabalenka joins the podcast filled with gratitude, authenticity, and an eagerness to open up about the realities of being a champion on and off the court. Aryna begins by reflecting on a challenging year marked by heartbreaking defeats in two Grand Slam finals earlier in the season, in Australia and Paris. Despite being seen as a favorite, she struggled to secure victories in those crucial moments, leading to emotional lows and doubts. These experiences shaped her mindset profoundly. Rather than focusing on immediate success, she emphasizes learning from failure and developing emotional control. Winning the U.S. Open felt like a rebirth, a triumph not just of skill, but of resilience and growth. Importantly, Sabalenka candidly speaks about what happens when she loses, particularly in finals. The pain runs deep because of how close she comes to achieving her goals. She describes a coping mechanism of leaving the venue quickly to emotionally detach, then taking time to analyze the game later through her team's feedback. Watching herself lose is particularly painful because she is often not proud of her behavior in such moments. This self-awareness highlights the inner battle athletes face between their competitive drive and personal identity. A defining theme of the conversation centers on Aryna's mental preparation during the intense two-week Grand Slam tournaments. Beyond physical training, the psychological toll of compressed schedules, high stakes, and constant media engagements is immense. She reveals the importance of ongoing self-talk, acknowledging fears, nerves, and doubts instead of suppressing them. Aryna notes that trying to eliminate negative thoughts can often make them worse, so she practices acceptance, reminding herself that feeling nervous and uncomfortable is normal for all athletes. Her internal dialogue during match preparations is a non-stop conversation of encouragement and resilience, often sounding like an ongoing battle to maintain confidence amidst uncertainty. This mindset shift, viewing nervousness as part of the process rather than a sign of weakness, is foundational to her success and longevity in the sport. While tennis is an individual sport where the player stands alone during competition, Aryna emphasizes the indispensable role of her team. She runs immediately to her team after matches, acknowledging that without their years of effort, coaches, trainers, family, and her boyfriend, her achievements would not be possible. This balance of individual responsibility and team support underscores the complex dynamic of tennis athletes. Off the court, Aryna shares a softer, more joyful side of herself. She contrasts her aggressive and intense demeanor during competition with her more relaxed, fun-loving personality in everyday life. She stresses the need to balance hard work with moments of joy and celebration, reminding listeners that champions also deserve to celebrate their victories fully and authentically. One of the most poignant parts of the episode is when Aryna opens up about a critical low point in her career, about 3 years ago. During this period, she experienced a technical breakdown in her serve, a vital part of her game, which she initially could not fix despite trying various methods, including sports psychology. She admits to nearly quitting the sport, feeling stuck and frustrated. However, this period of struggle became a turning point. Aryna took responsibility for her emotions and actions, transitioning from reliance on external help to internal self-leadership. This mindset shift allowed her to regain control, adapt, and eventually conquer the mental barriers holding her back. It was after this breakthrough that she won her first Grand Slam. This story embodies the #1 mindset shift from failure to success, accepting personal responsibility and using setbacks as fuel for growth. Aryna reflects on her childhood and the influences that shaped her character. She fondly remembers her father's humor and positive spirit, traits she aspired to emulate. Although he was not a tennis player himself, he played ice hockey and suffered a major injury. He introduced her to tennis by encouraging her to try it as an outlet for her abundant energy. Despite early successes, Aryna describes coming into her own confidence internationally around age 16 or 17, a later bloom compared to some peers. Growing up without social media meant she lacked the constant comparisons athletes today face, which she views as both a blessing and a challenge. This absence allowed her to cultivate an authentic love for tennis rather than chasing curated images of success. An emotional highlight of the podcast is Aryna's reflection on the loss of her father, a deeply formative and painful experience. She shares how his sudden passing forced her to find strength not only for herself, but also to support her mother. While struggling privately with grief, she found solace and distraction on the tennis court, using intense training sessions as an escape from emotional overwhelm. Rather than succumbing to despair, Aryna transformed her grief into motivation, honoring her father's memory through her dedication and commitment on the court. This approach highlights the profound intersection of personal trauma and professional drive in an elite athlete's life. Sabalenka discusses her approach to physical and mental recovery, acknowledging that rest is essential and sometimes underestimated. She advocates for maintaining a balanced life, where activities that bring joy, such as going out for dinners or simply sleeping well, are prioritized alongside rigorous training. She admits that her perception of such balance has evolved. Early in her career, she might have felt guilty for taking time off, but now she understands that recovery fuels performance. Her game day routines are rituals, including a very specific breakfast of avocado toast with smoked salmon and perfectly cooked eggs, underscoring the importance of familiar rituals in grounding and preparing mentally for competition. Aryna touches on the ongoing fight for equality in sports, especially the push for equal prize money in tennis. While she is aware of physiological differences between men and women athletes, she advocates for equal recognition of effort and dedication. She highlights the growing popularity and spectacle of women's tennis, blending high-level competition with fashion and culture, making the sport increasingly dynamic and widely appreciated. In line with this spirit, she excitedly shares about an upcoming Battle of the Sexes exhibition match against Nick Kyrgios, designed as a fun yet symbolic event to showcase women's tennis in a broader, more engaging way. Towards the episode's conclusion, Aryna offers heartfelt reflections on what success means to her, not trophies or titles, but the discipline to show up every day, even when motivation wanes. She believes success is a process of consistent effort and resilience. On love, she describes it as a profound acceptance of another person's whole being, embracing both strengths and flaws. This philosophy extends beyond romantic relationships to family and friends, emphasizing curiosity and understanding over judgment. Looking ahead, she hopes her career will be remembered for inspiring younger generations to try, persist, and chase their dreams relentlessly. She wishes to leave a legacy rooted in hard work, authenticity, and kindness.